Hello, everyone. It's me, Mason from Music with Mason. I am back once more, and it has been a month since I have done one of these amazing interviews with all these amazing Iowan artists and bands out there, and a lot more interviews are on the way. I just want to take a minute to say thank you all so much for the recent support, and I have just been having the time of my life. I had to take a few minutes to get set here, and it helped me rethink on how I'm doing this, and just letting you all know now that if I sound a little nervous or if I have a lisp or two, just bear with me because it has been a month. And I know that may not seem like a long time, but it's just amazing to be back here in the studio and having these opportunities to interview all these bands out there. I mean, it's just great. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for the recent support, and I will talk to you all later. Hello and welcome to Music with Mason. My name is Mason Fall. I am here joined with the singer, songwriter, and ukulele player, Riley Jane.
I'm on a carousel ride with you endlessly.
How are you doing today, Riley?
I'm so good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. This has been my first interview back since break. I am excited to get right into it. And I just want to say, for starters, you are from Norwalk, right?
Yes, I am.
So you recently graduated. I know that. Is that a fact?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good.
Yep.
All right. So you recently released your album Half-Assed Teenager back in December. How has that been doing so far?
It's going pretty good. I'm not very good at the whole promotion thing, but so far everybody seems to be liking it. So
Yeah, I personally like the song Half-Assed Teenager just right off the bat. It's really good.
thank you so much.
So we also know that you also write songs such as Carousel, Piece of, and Beverly Marsh. So, I mean, I just want to say, like, my favorite song so far is Carousel. It's really catchy, and the ukulele flows right into the music. It's really great.
Thank you so much.
So your album has been released across Apple Music and Spotify. What else is it platformed on?
Pretty much everything. If you can think of something, I'm sure it's on there.
All right. So I guess we should go back to the start. When did you start playing ukulele, and when did you start singing?
So I've been singing since I could talk, probably, but I didn't start really taking it seriously until about 5th grade is when I got my first ukulele. And in 5th grade, I joined a band, and I was playing just kind of like percussion instruments, not like the drums or anything, but just like tambourine and such, and doing little background vocals. But I was playing the ukulele just kind of as a solo project. And then come by another year, I moved bands to a different band, and then I started playing the ukulele in that band. And then I got to sing a little more. And then I've been in that band since last year. We just had to split because we graduated. But I've been in that band since probably end of 5th grade.
And then you just got used to being by yourself?
Yep, I kind of started doing my own thing a few years ago when I released Beverly Marsh. That was like my first real song I think I put together and wrote. And then since then, just been keeping on.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good to see we have people out there who are really just have pure passion to just be able to, take away from being a part of a band and just doing their own thing. I'm sure it's a little more tougher not having like as many people around you, but how is it just being by yourself? Is it more interesting for you?
I definitely love being able to do my own thing, and I also worry about like what other people, like their opinions on anything. I've been writing my own songs for a long time, so that's usually just me by myself, unless like I share that song with someone. I know I've had a few friends that like help me with a few lyric changes and such, and they give me ideas. But yeah, it's pretty much just been me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure being a single like singer yourself, having the creative passion to just put your own music out there, you don't have to worry about other people. And I'm sure it's a lot more freedom than being in a band.
Yes, it is, for sure.
So do you have any inspirations, anyone who inspired you to just be like by yourself or be a part of music in general?
Well, Taylor Swift, of course, is an easy answer. She's my favorite artist of all time. I remember watching like her documentary that came out. And like after I watched that, I kind of like a flip switch and I started taking myself seriously. I started writing more songs and kind of like putting more effort into the music genre.
Right. What about for the ukulele side? Did you have any inspirations for that, or did you just decide to pick it up and just start playing it?
I definitely did start just picking that up and playing it, but over time, like there's a girl named Chloe Moriando. She's a really good singer, and she started like on the ukulele. And I think that I take a lot of inspiration from her music as well.
Right on. So, when we're thinking about you being on tour and playing at concerts and stuff, I found out that you played with bands like 28 Days Later, and you also got to play with Quinn Trilk.
Yes, both are my close friends.
Really cool. So, what was it like playing in front of like an audience like that?
I've always loved performing. I was a dancer before I was a singer, so I was always on stage dancing. But I love the environment. I love being able to talk to an audience, make anyone laugh. But I also get so nervous, super nervous. It's a lot of like the preparing before is really what's nerve wracking, you know, like getting a set in order and what you're gonna sing and covers. Like a lot of audiences love to know the songs you're singing, so having to like learn covers and finding songs that is gonna be an audience pleaser. I think that's probably the hardest part. But I love getting to perform with, you know, I got to perform with 28 Days Later a couple times. They're really cool. I actually have a song Chasing on the album that Joey Gilbronson and Gino Hale play on. So they're actually like Gino's on the guitar and Joey's on the drums.
Very cool.
Yes.
You know,
And then Quinn was in my band before I did my solo thing. So I've been playing with her for years and years.
yeah, that's really cool. So, at the XBK Live Center, it's kind of like a known place for like musicians and performers to play at. Like, how was the experience just to play it there specifically?
It was awesome. It was surreal because I've been to XBK to see like some of my favorite artists perform there, and then like it's so cool knowing that like I've been on that stage, like the same stage as the other artists I've seen. And I love the environment. It's so fun. I love that they always have like tables out if people want to sit or if like people want to come stand and watch, they can do whatever. I love the environment. I love that venue so much.
Right on. I know a lot of we've interviewed a lot of bands that, you know, play there. Like that's one of the spots they've played at because, I mean, to be fair, there's not a whole lot of well-known places to play in Iowa, but that's really one of the more well-known places to play.
Mhm.
So we already know that you told us that Taylor Swift is a big inspiration for you. Do you have any other singers or bands that you would just give a huge shout out to and that who you personally like as your like a personal favorite?
There's there's this band called Beach Bunny, and I have been just a huge fan. I got to see them in concert, and they have just the exact sound that I was going for when I started making music. And I just love their music. I know all their songs. They're definitely my top favorite band.
Right. Okay. So, did you attend a Big Time Rush concert?
Yeah, I did. Yes.
How was that?
Big Time. Wow. Yeah. No, I love Big Time Rush. A huge fan. I'm a Big Time Rush girly over a One Direction girly, which is crazy, but has to be said. I even got to we got such lucky seats that like Kendall and James, we got to like touch them and like they like sang right to me and my friend that I went with. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Big Time Rush, definitely a well-known boy band out there. So,
Yeah, my absolute favorite band for sure.
hands down. So, does the quote "You and me against the world" mean anything to you?
Okay, so my first tattoo I ever got was that quote, and that's something that me and my dad say to each other. We've been saying it for years. So like, instead of like, of course we still say like I love you, but he'll say like you and me, and then I'll finish it and say against the world. And my dad's just my biggest supporter, my best friend. So that was the first thing I got tattooed.
Yeah, that's very sweet knowing you and your dad have that kind of connection instead of just a generic "I love you" and like "Oh, I love you
Yes,
too." So it's nice to see that people have their own like little spins on own personal lines.
yes.
So, do you have a dog?
I I have a dog and a half, is what I like to say. So
Okay.
I have a dog named Faith, and she's a mini golden doodle and cocker spaniel mix, and she is just the best. She's the sweetest. And then I have another dog named Friday, who is just on his last limb. He's just really old, and he has some breathing problems. He wears a diaper. He's a hoot and a half, but that is my half dog, is what I like to say.
Okay. I mean, yeah, he's getting to that point, so but
Yep.
it's very sweet. So, is it true that you worked at Chuck E. Cheese?
Oh my goodness. Yes, it is. For for a few months, I did.
How was just dealing with kids? Like, what was your position at Chuck E. Cheese?
So I was a party host. So I hosted the birthday parties for the kids. So I was pretty much, if there was a waiter at Chuck E. Cheese, it was me. So
Okay.
I would bring the pizza out. I would take the orders of the families. I would do pretty much whatever the family wanted me to do, and I would make it happen.
So,
And then otherwise, I was like behind the counter, like doing prizes, just like stuff like that.
okay, so in your opinion, is any other pizza better than Chuck E. Cheese pizza?
You know, I'm not a super picky pizza eater, but I love Chuck E. Cheese pizza. Like
Okay.
it's good. Honestly, like it might be the best.
Really?
I
Okay.
think it's really good.
I mean, it's been a while, so maybe my taste buds haven't been agreeing with me to many foods so far.
I don't know if I have a favorite kind of pizza, but it's probably up there.
So do you think that at some of the parties that you host, you just take the spotlight away from the Chuck E. Cheese band and just start playing in front of them?
I would have loved to. When I used to work there and I had a lot of friends I worked with, we used to clean up like after hours. They would always let me play music throughout the whole like the building.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to like write songs for them every time one came out, and they were all super supportive. I really loved the environment. It was very exhausting. One of the hardest jobs really I've ever had, but it was worth it. It was so much fun.
Okay. Well, at least there's a good note to that. So, what is the Echo Valley Country Club?
Okay, Echo Valley Country Club is a golf course country club. It's kind of like the nicer part of Norwalk. They have this like special country club. If you live in that neighborhood, you can go there. And my stepsister used to live in Echo, so we used to like go to their pool all the time. But I worked there just for a few months. I was just kind of like, I did whatever the bosses kind of told me to, like cleaned up whatever I needed to, grabbed whatever. It was kind of just like it was a good summer job.
Right. Do you think if they had a venue, you would play there too?
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, I totally agree. Any place should have a venue. Even McDonald's should
Exactly.
have a venue.
Fact.
But I mean, yeah. So on TikTok, we know that you have a pretty good following on there.
I try.
It's pretty. I mean, I'm impressed. So you have your own little section on there just based around Harry Potter. Are you a Harry Potter fan?
So I am a Harry Potter fan, but I am like a borderline fake fan because I joined the Harry Potter craze when Draco Malfoy was a big thing going around on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I just have the biggest crush on Draco Malfoy, and that is why got me into Harry Potter. So like in my dorm room right now, I have a Draco Malfoy pillow and blanket sitting on my futon.
I mean, that's just fair, okay? I mean, who wouldn't like him? All right?
That's insane.
But yeah. Which Harry Potter movie did you like the most?
The third one, because Draco had the most lines on that one.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense.
Yep.
So you also posted on TikTok that you had a Heartstopper series of books on your bookshelf. Are you a Heartstopper fan?
Super fan, if you will. absolutely love that show. I just ordered the newest book that came out and read it in a day. Absolutely love that series.
What makes it better than most other series?
Well, so it's a very fruity show. It's about these two boys that are in love. And I think what makes it so fun to watch is that, like, most of the shows nowadays, they're very drama filled and very focused on, like, the negative sides of sexuality. And this show kind of brings out, like, the positives, and there's not a ton of drama. And it's just like a really lighthearted, fun show. And I think that's why I love watching it so much, because it's not stressful or anything. It just makes you feel good about yourself.
It's more positive than, more negative impacts.
Yeah, exactly.
So when we looked through your songs, I found a song called 4 O'Clock. I had a few mixed feelings about it. I just never really understood the pure purpose and the meaning behind it. What was the meaning behind your song 4 O'Clock?
So, I had a crush on this boy, and this was years and years ago, so I don't even talk to this boy anymore. But I really had a crush on this boy, and there was one night during quarantine when Netflix party was a thing, so you could like watch movies, and like there's a chat room, so you could like chat with that person you're watching movies with. And I had done this with this boy, and we sat and we watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And I honestly, I'm going to be so honest, don't really even like the movie very much, and I watched it because he wanted to. And so we stayed up talking till 4 o'clock in the morning, until the end of our conversation is when we started talking about, like, who do we like and stuff like that. And he told me he liked one of my friends who has been just very known to have any boy like her. She's very pretty. She's very fun, very talented herself. And it was just heartbreaking because, like, of course he's going to like her and not me. So that's kind of like the backstory of that song.
Right. I mean, it's better than going on a rant. All right. I mean, you put the anger that you had towards him explaining his feelings for someone else into a song, which is really beautiful to think about.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do.
You just take these feelings you have and put them into music and not into like an angry rant or being upset over nothing. I mean, it's really nice to see that you have that control.
Absolutely.
So let's just go on a little more positive note and have a little fun question here. So, I don't know if you know this, but there's a YouTuber out there called The Mythical Kitchen who has this little sideshow about there's people's final meals if they could have their own final meal. And what in your opinion would be your final meal?
Oh my goodness. Well, mac and cheese has to be involved somehow.
Indeed. 100% mac and cheese for life.
Mac and cheese is my favorite of all time. So I'm thinking mac and cheese, and then this is going to sound crazy, but like a side of like just like cut up radishes and dip would just make that
all right
meal.
That's just it. I mean,
hey. Bacon maybe, a side of bacon.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's fun. A little unique twist on that. But mac and cheese for sure has to be on the final meal.
Absolutely.
So we're getting down to the last few questions of our interview. I don't know how on earth we've gotten so fast through this, but do you plan on touring outside of Iowa in the future?
I would absolutely love to if that opportunity comes to me. But honestly, I love the venues in Iowa. I think it sounds silly, but like a dream of mine is to play at Woolies, which is just downtown Des Moines. Like it's just like a little bigger of a venue that Iowa has, but I would absolutely love to play that stage. But I mean, I would love to play anywhere that anyone will have me.
Right. Just to get your name out there,
Exactly.
So now that we're talking about, specifically Woolies and the XBK Center, do you have a favorite place to play at so far? Like, do you have a favorite?
Well, I would probably say XBK has been my favorite, but I have gotten to play Lefties through Dan Trilk's School of Music. I've been able to play that stage a few times, and I love the environment there.
Right. Okay. So what is the future like for Riley Jane? Are we going to see more concert tours? Are we going to see an album or a single drop out? Like, what is the future for Riley Jane so far?
I would just love to keep making music and releasing music. I have to actually learn how to produce my own music. I've had Dan Stroke produce pretty much all of my songs. and I would love to learn how to do that myself. I just have to put the time into doing that. And I'm thinking the next project probably a few singles or maybe an EP coming out. But who knows?
Maybe we'll get Riley Jane merch. Maybe
That's, you know what? I have some in the works actually. I just have to figure out how to get that going as well.
right. Maybe you can replace the Malfoy blanket with a Riley Jane blanket. So
Exactly, it's needed.
yeah. So the final question that I ask all of the people that I've interviewed so far, what would you tell the young and aspiring musicians who want to play and perform and sing in front of all these people out there, just don't have like the courage to do it? Like, what would you say to them?
I would definitely say it's totally relatable and it's so nerve-wracking and there's a lot of anxiety that gets put into it. But once you're on that stage and you start to get comfortable, you start singing, all of that anxiety is going to melt away and you're just going to start having fun. That's what happens to me every time. I get so nervous. I'm like shaking when I go up there. But like halfway through the first song, you kind of feel the audience and everything. All that anxiety starts to melt away and you start having more fun.
Totally agree with that. Always have fun. Don't make it work.
Exactly. I always like to kind of address the audience about how awkward it's going to be because I think it's a little funny when I perform is that I tell jokes to the audience, but you can also tell that I'm just a super awkward person. And I think that's kind of what is part of the whole Riley Jane experience is you get that little awkward interaction. You kind of feel me out as a person and then you feel the audience out and it just all blends together perfectly.
Right. I mean, it's not very common to have artists be upfront and honest that they're just a little nervous when they're out there, but
Exactly.
once they're into it and the audience are into it, it's just how it goes and it flows beautifully.
Mhm.
Well, I think that is going to wrap it up for today, Riley. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. I totally recommend people listening to your album Half-Assed Teenager, which is out on all platforms music-wise, and it's just a great experience, and I'm just glad to have you as my first interview back from Christmas break.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Riley. And of course, we will see you next time.
Yes, of course.
All right, now, have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
And that will do it for today's episode of Music with Mason. If you enjoyed this, please check out my other interviews that you can find on my YouTube page. And you can also go ahead and check out Riley Jane's Half-Assed Teenager, which is on all sorts of music platforms. Amazing artist, super talented, doesn't get enough love. Just saying. I mean, I don't know how hard it is to play the ukulele. I don't plan on finding out, but maybe I will in a future episode. You never know. But thank you so much for sticking around. If you enjoyed, please recommend sharing this to all your friends and family, whoever it may be, coworkers, wives, husbands, kids, whoever it is. And as always, I hope you enjoyed. We will see you guys next time.